We are live and welcome everyone. This is the RPH Ally Farm Tech 360 live show streaming on 4 social media platforms. You may have seen our earlier message. We had intended to have our guest Judy Neville today. I think we'll be sharing her information. She may be experiencing technology issues, but our teammate, our colleague is Beth Shelton. We've mentioned her before, we've seen her before. I'm going to run our banner and then we are ready to start. The banner's not working either. So we're just full of technology issues, but we know how to fly quickly and easily. Let me explain Judy Neville. She and I have known each other for several years. Some points we're a little more active than others. Judy has been an example to me. I've always watched her, admired her. She currently lives in Omaha, Nebraska. She is the program director for the pharmacy technician program that resides in the University of Nebraska Medical Center College of Pharmacy. She is officially faculty member for the College of Pharmacy in Nebraska and teaches sterile compounding. Now, that's her current work. But she has made several pivots through her life. She started out as a pharmacy technician and then was experienced and enthusiastic enough at a certain time that she also began to write textbooks, some of the earliest textbooks on sterile compounding and the importance of the engagement within health system pharmacy for technicians who are learning. Those textbooks are still in use, they're still in print. And in the last 10 years, Judy, who had been an active member of the American Association of Pharmacy Technicians, went on to become president. And she has led that organization to a very active, dynamic presence in the pharmacy technician field. I do want to mention that they are holding an annual conference in just about 3+ weeks. It's going to be in Anaheim, California. They have an awesome roster of topics and speakers. It really crosses the realm for a variety of practice settings. If you're on that West Coast and you can make it on down to Anaheim, you can register for a single day or you can register for the 3 days. It's June 1st through the 3rd. The registration rate is very reasonable, and it's a great way to network and make those professional connections. Mm-hmm. Beth, you've known Judy for a while. Tell us about your interaction, where you've seen her pivot and how she has helped others to pivot.
Well, I've not had the benefit of actually being able to meet her, but I've been using her textbooks for quite some time. And, you and I got to kind of chat about this a little bit before we went live. Mm-hmm. So when I was fortunate enough to get to work on writing my own new curriculum, one of the kind of benefits of being able to do that is that publishers like to send you a lot of textbooks. And so I was exposed to Judy's work by being able to get new textbooks. And when I came across her work, I loved it, absolutely loved it. And so I've been, exposed to Judy's work and using her textbooks for years in my classroom. And, Judy's work has been so kind of inspiring as far as, like I said, the sterile work. You had mentioned earlier that she has worked quite extensively with sterile compounding. And I think you and I had talked kind of briefly about that, off camera a little bit about how much I enjoy sterile compounding and what a big part of my career that has been as well. And so I used some of her content to kind of bolster a lot of my program. And so I was really excited to be able to see her on the show today. So hopefully we can get her back on and get her rescheduled and maybe kind of chat with her a little bit more another time.
Absolutely. She's a fun person. She's a very interesting person. Now, we're on RPH Ally, and we know that this is a growing platform for technicians. And
Mhm.
so the question may come, why are we as RPH Ally discussing another organization like the American Association of Pharmacy Technicians? Because I think there's a great partnership involved.
Oh, sure.
AAPT is an organization. It reaches many people. Yes, it does at some levels include pharmacists.
Mhm.
They have partnered with technician training programs. They
Mhm.
have partnered with CE providers. There's all kinds of relationships, professional relationships that have come about. RPH
Absolutely.
Ally is different. We're focused on the individual and the identity,
Mhm.
and it's comprehensive pharmacy. It's not just siloed for technicians. It's not siloed for pharmacists. It's not siloed for
Mhm.
a particular practice setting. We are now growing in all realms, and
Yes.
as we see pharmacists come forward and be more entrepreneurial, we are seeing technicians coming forward and being entrepreneurial. I think
Yeah.
Judy was an early example of that.
Sure.
She was able to navigate both worlds. She was able to navigate the professional practice with the
Mhm.
education side, but writing textbooks and moving out into that realm, that was a pivot for her.
Mhm.
And we are now seeing how RPH Ally is able to provide platforms for those
Mhm.
individuals who have the opportunity to pivot.
Yeah.
So we've interviewed Sharon Garrett.
Yes. Yes.
Sharon has two books, they're ebooks, open
Mhm.
access. In Judy's day, you had to go through a publisher. And
Yes.
Beth, you
Yes.
talked about publishers being
Yes.
so focused on getting your business and your
Yes.
students' business that they would send you samples.
Yep.
Not anymore.
Mm-mm.
Technicians have pivoted to start writing their own content. We
Yeah.
have
Well,
wonderful
and it's far
resources.
more accessible now. You can easily self-publish, and you can sell your content on Amazon. And I have such huge admiration for pharmacy technicians who would say the content's not there. There's information that all of these new technicians need to know about, and I'm not finding the content that I want, new technicians to see. Or I'm not finding a resource available to them that makes sense for, the specific area of the field that I want to share with them. And, for Judy to be a trendsetter the way that she was, and
Mhm,
to write the kind of content that she did, and Mike Johnston, he did the same thing.
mhm, mhm.
And so I like I said, have such huge admiration for those trailblazers in our fields who just reached right out and said, hey, I'm going to do this. I'm going to make sure that pharmacy technicians who want the right education have access to it.
Well, and I would like to challenge you, not so much the right education, the
Sure.
applicable education,
Right. Sure. Yeah.
the relevant education.
Yes.
Um, in this program and through RPH Ally, we are connecting and meeting with a variety of technicians who are going to bring their content forward. Uh,
Hmm.
and they're going to be coming from different
It's very
practice
exciting.
settings. They could be very specialized with just a niche, or they could
Yes.
be an overview.
Hmm.
Uh, so, Beth, name a couple, one or two areas, maybe just your particular area that you would like to see. Maybe you and I've talked. I know you've got thoughts, and I know you have
Oh
notes
yeah.
in
Oh yeah.
progress.
I,
Uh,
I have I have lists of ideas.
yes, but let's name one that kind of intrigues you.
Well, I mean, just for starters, like you said, the area that I'm in, inventory management is
Hmm.
is huge. There's several different directions you can go in with inventory management. It's such a broad topic. And so I'm really kind of excited to see us kind of branch out with that a little bit. And Nina's kind of talked a little bit about, you guys touched kind of on MedSync, and I think that
Hmm.
there's a little bit more expanding that can be done in that
Hmm.
area as well.
Hmm.
And I know that there's a few more projects that she's kind of working on the back burner. And so I'm really kind of interested to see what can be done in conjunction with natural medicine. Natural medicine has kind of been a huge topic recently.
Yes.
And so we've talked a little bit about that, like, what are pharmacy technician roles in the world of natural medicine? What can we do to, interact with patients in the topic of natural medicine? How can we help pharmacists in that role? And so I think there's a bunch of different kind of new directions that we can go in that are kind of considered non-traditional. So I'm excited to kind of see, what new different kind of, not necessarily just CEs, but
just professional development
opportunities, like classes and offerings that we're going to be able to provide here on RPHLI that's going to kind of help broaden our entire career development opportunities. So yeah, it's going to be really, really exciting to see where it goes.
Well, I would like to add to that particular topic. Officially, it's called functional medicine, and there is formal training for healthcare professionals in that specific field. But it's really interesting. It's a collaborative effort. It's not taking natural medicines and totally wiping them away from pharmaceuticals, but it's identifying the pharmaceuticals that should be in your regimen, your therapy, and what kind of nutritional supports or lifestyle choices are companions. We've got someone on the RPHLI platform who talks about deprescribing, and that is a legitimate area. And for technicians, how would they even begin to think about deprescribing? Well, the first thing is really get to know your medications, know the pharmacology. And there are pharmacology textbooks specific for technicians. You don't have to know the in-depth pharmacokinetics or pharmacodynamics, but you do need to know the classifications. You should be able to pronounce both the generic name and the brand name. You do need to know why this particular medication works and how it works, but it's not meant for you to have that therapeutic counseling conversation. So 2 levels. I happen to be involved in a project for the month of May for hypertension. May is Hypertension Education Month.
Yes, it is.
So there are actually 8 categories of medications specifically for hypertension, but each category has its own particular purpose within that cardiovascular need. So take that information, feed it into the sync process. When you're interviewing the patient, either on a monthly or quarterly basis, depending on how they get their meds, tie it into inventory management. If it's a relatively easy access, low cost medication, you're always going to have it. But if it's a specialty medication that only comes packaged in 30, and all of a sudden midstream, the doctor changes the medication in the SIG, and you don't check on that, you don't follow through in detail, that inventory cost on your shelf is expensive.
It is. Absolutely, it is.
That's where the whole process, the patient education, the medication knowledge, the med sync, the inventory management, and the follow through. And so for any of you listening who are technicians and you're going, that's really curious to me, hop on over to RPHLI. Go with the standard membership and look into the pharmacy channels, because we've got a great pharmacist who talks about deprescribing. We're bringing forward MedSync training to the PharmTech 360 platform. It is going to be holistic and comprehensive. It is not just about autofill. It's not just making a quick call, filling the medication and putting it on the shelf and say, come get it. There's a few more details involved, and it allows you to develop into those advanced roles with increased skill set.
Yes, definitely.
So Beth, let's kind of bring it back around. How do you think Judy has been an influence for you to pivot? And then I want to close with how Judy has been an influence to me.
Oh, wonderful. Yeah. No, I honestly, I've thought long and hard about writing a textbook for a while, and watching what Judy's done with her career, and the fact that she was considering being on the show today. And like I said before, hopefully we can get her back on, and we'll make it a priority to do that. It's kind of been moving up my list a little bit more. so yeah, I think that writing a textbook would be so much fun to do. The problem now is trying to narrow down my focus. so what would I write my first textbook on? How about that?
Well, and here's the other thing. I've been on the education side, and usually a semester is 16 weeks. And so you have anything anywhere from 14 to 16 chapters, et cetera, and all that goes with it. But actually, we can start thinking in small
colleges,
units.
it's 9 months program. So
yeah,
and depending on the type of program you're looking at, I could actually kind of narrow it down to different segments for each module.
Absolutely. So Judy has been an example to me of staying focused in the profession, persevering, staying the course, not jumping. And that's the message that I want to bring forward in Pivot is, if you've got in your heart a desire to stay in this field and pursue, don't be discouraged by a day, a month, a week, a year. Figure that there are many more opportunities to advance. And the world is changing. There's so much change going on in our field. Stay connected to organizations. AAPT, NPTA, they are both great organizations to help you know what's going on in the forefront. And RPH Ally is exploring, at least through the Farm Tech 360, we're looking at ways to partner with these two organizations.
Yes.
Because I think we both each have unique offerings. So, Beth, thanks again for your help today. And
yes, of course.
Activity. For all of those who joined, we thank you for sharing your time. We'll see you next week, and enjoy the rest of your weekend. Take care.
Thank you, everyone.